So my screen is visible right now. I hope so. Can someone give me the confirmation?
Yes, Indra.
Thank you. So, okay, I'll start with this session. In today's session, we will be covering the three aspects of the product. One would be the product demo, second would be the use cases, and the third would be the growth and SEO hacks. Product demo would be taken up by David, use cases I will be taking over, and growth and SEO hacks would be taken up by Ravi. I request David, could you please take the demo session ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Uh, Tim, I can stop presenting.
Sure.
Hi guys, my name is David. I'm a integration manager at TruePush. We'll go directly into the demo of the product. So this is our main page. So after you go here, you go into the login page, which opens up our dashboard. Um, so in the dashboard, you have an option for creating projects. We give out unlimited projects, all free of cost. There are no limitations for using our system. In the while creating a project, you give out basic information about the project and set up how you want to show, how you want to approach your users to apply for push notifications. So you give out your website details, as we are at present only supporting for websites. You give out your website details, then you set out your opt-in frequencies and styles and all, and then you set up your welcome notification, where when a person allows you notification, can receive a message automatically. And the last one is allowing for browsers. So all the browsers accept notification directly, but for Safari there is a special thing that you need to do called a P12 certificate that needs to be added into the our system, so we can actually communicate with the Safari browser. After that, you go into the All Projects tab, uh, where you go to the code integration page, and there you will have either two codes or one code that you need to place onto the website. So this is changed by what your HTTPS status is. So if you are a HTTP site, you will be given only one code to place onto your site, and if you are a HTTPS site, then you need to place both SW or JS file as well as the SDK code into your website.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, David. I'm having concerns here. Someone is texting. We can't see your screen. Can you guys all see the screen that David is sharing? Okay. Yeah, please continue.
David, a small request. Can you close out the side panel so the entire screen is visible? It's not. It's very small to do that.
Sorry.
The side panel of the participants is there, right? Can you close that so the entire panel, like you are only the browser is visible?
Oh. Okay. I'm not. I can't do that. You have to do. Everyone has to do it on yourself.
And Tina has to do it. I'm sorry, Ravi Waka here.
So we'll continue with the code integration part. So as I said, if the code integration changes based on the security measures that you have placed on the website. If you are a HTTPS site, you need to add both the SW.js file as well as the SDK code into the website. But if you are a HTTP site, you will only be given the SDK code to place onto your site, and we'll give a subdomain for you to get your subscribers to be added into our dashboard. And then onto the dashboard. So the dashboard there is particularly very simple to understand and very intuitive. You have total subscribers, which are the total number of subscribers that you have from the day you place the code onto your website. They may be unsubscribed or may not be unsubscribed, but it's the total number of people that are subscribed to your notifications. Then next, the active subscribers that are presently subscribed to your notifications right now. And then is the total views of all the campaigns that you have sent, and then is the total clicks of all the campaigns that you have sent. Then is today's summary. Then we give out the last 5 campaigns, and then the subscriber data based on location-wise, browser-wise, and date-wise. And if next is campaigns. In campaigns, we give out information such as you can see on the screen: title, status, start time, source, sent, delivered, views, and total clicks. And you also have the option for actions as well, where you are given an option for seeing the campaign stats and cloning the notification as well. If the campaign has still not started yet, you'll also have the option for pausing the campaign or editing the campaign as well. So if we click on the stats button, you'll go in depth into the notification that has been sent, where you can see the reach of the notifications, the sent data again, and the people that have unsubscribed, as well as how many platforms that we have touched, in which country we have touched, and the browsers that you could have seen the notifications on. And we also give out hourly stats as well. And then is an RSS2 push. This is for automated notifications. So you give out a basic link to us, and we crawl it every 3 minutes. If we find out a new update on the file, then we create a campaign automatically, and that will be reflected back on the campaigns page here as RSS. So to set up RSS, you need to give out the link, and you give out a delay notification. So what that does is it tells us after we crawl the notification, after this many minutes, you want to send out the notification. Then there are segments, which we'll talk about when we go to the segments tab. And then is the campaign interval. Campaign interval is if you have more than one update on the RSS feed and you don't want all of them to go at once, then you can set out intervals between them to a maximum of 60 minutes. So after one notification has been sent, then after 60 minutes, the next notification will be sent again. The next is the templates, where you create a predefined template for yourself so you can send it to your subscribers. And then is segments. The segments, you first name the segment, or how you want to define it, and then if you want to give notes, you can give those notes as well. And the important things are the segment properties. So we give out a predefined segments of these: OS, country, stat, city, browser, day of week, hour of day, subscription date, last visited date, and platform. If you want more defined segments as well, you can create them using our custom tags that are present in the code integration page. And then there are triggers. Triggers are used for sending predefined triggers that you can send to notifications to our users based on their subscription timings. So you will give out the basic information about it here. You can give out a segment or not, but you have to give out a template for us to send the notification to. Then you can send it either once after they subscribe after a particular time, or on a repeated sequence, like either a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis or an yearly basis. And then, or you can set up dates as well. In these particular dates, you want to send a note trigger. And then is a subscription tab, where you get a much more detailed information about your subscribers. So in the day-wise stats, you see how many people have subscribed to you, how many people have unsubscribed to you, and how many users have deleted their information from our dashboard. Unique opt-in show is after you place our code, if a user visits show the first time and our opt-in is loaded, then the number will be updated. And then you see the opt-in styles as well, and as well as dates. And then if you go to stats, then it will be divided again by browser-wise details, platform-wise details, and as well as country-wise details. And then you go to subscribers, where you get more information on the subscribers that you have. You give out an individual ID. We give out individual IDs for them and the platform that they have come from, and the date that they have subscribed, if they are active or not, if they're added as a test user or not, and all the remaining details that can be seen here. And the last is test users. You can add test users when you go to the settings tab and click on this button to add as test user. So to add test user, the person has to be already subscribed to your website. Then only that person can be added as a test user. You can edit the details for the project here if you click on the edit button. And the last thing is creating a notification. You give out the basic information for the notification, like title, message, and the URL. You give out a logo and the image that you want to show as well. If you want to set buttons, you can set that up as well. And then timings for the notification, you can schedule the notification. Let's say you want to send it after some time or after tomorrow, or you can set that before as well. User interaction required is if you don't want the notification to close until unless your user has clicked on it, then you can use user interaction required. The campaign expiry time is the time the campaign will be live until unless your user becomes online and use it. The basic thing that we give is 672 hours. And then you can send it either to your all subscribers or a specific segment that you have created. And then you send out the campaign. This is a testing site that I have. And as you see, if I press allow, I get a welcome message automatically here. So if I click on it, and then I'll be redirected to a website. So that is how a notification works. That is it for the demo. Tina, please take over.
Thank you, David. So I'll share my screen. In the meanwhile, Shreya from our team, she would share the questionnaire form wherein you can submit your name and the question that you want to ask. And after Ravi's session would be over, we will start the question and answer session with you all, where I can address the queries individually. Shreya, I request you to share the questionnaire form in the chat option.
Yes, Tina, I did. So guys, if you have any questions, please fill in the form. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. I'll share my screen now. Also, if you have any other query related to the product, you can directly come on to our website, which is truepush.com, and use the chat widget, which is present at the right bottom of the website. You can directly put your queries there, and we will directly get in touch with you. So I'll share my screen now. Okay. So can you see my screen? Someone just give me the confirmation, please. David, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So the product demo is done. Now I'll come to the use cases for a very brief introduction. First of all, push notifications are a very short and brief messages, which binds your website visitors to your website continuously. It's a kind of a re-engagement platform. So I will be covering up the use cases here. As you can see here, different industries I have mentioned. entertainment, media publishers, job portals, e-commerce, edtech, and fintech websites. So these are the platforms that are leveraging push notifications. Also, please, I want you to all to know that these are not the mandatory industries that can use the notifications. So anyone with their own websites and anyone with a digital presence can use the push notifications to re-engage their website visitors. I'll start with the entertainment platform. So here, as you can see in the image, this is an example of the notification image that India Glitz sends. So India Glitz is it's an entertainment platform which is having all the details regarding movies, trailers, and interesting news that is going on in the industry. All those content is present on their website. So when they want to push such relevant content, they use push notifications. So what feature India Glitz is using currently is segmentation. As you can see here. Now look at the right image here. When a person visits their website, which is indiaglitz.com, they will receive a pop-up which will ask every user to select the language of their preference. So let us say I understand only Hindi, so I will tick mark the Hindi option and then I will click on allow. Once I click on allow, I become a user of India Glitz. From there on, I will receive the notifications only in Hindi languages because Hindi language is what I can relate to. So as you can see to the left of your image, the left image, these are the segments that are being created based on the language preference. So again, these are not limited to these languages only. You can add as many languages as you want based on the visitors that are coming onto your website. Now the question is why the audience is segmentized here. You know, the more grouping you do of your audience, the more the more your users can relate to the notification, and that's the reason they will click on it. And once they click on the notification, again they will come back to your website. So this is how you are generating a repeat traffic, and you are re-engaging them again and again. Moving forward. So I want to show you an example here as well. As you can see, this is the India Glitz website. Once I select on Hindi option and I click on allow, again I will click allow. So now I am subscribed to India Glitz. From here on, as and when India Glitz push out notifications, I will receive them on my laptop or on my mobile until my browsers are open. And then once I click here, again I will come back to the website. Moving ahead. The next example that I would be taking is PMI.IT. Now, PMI.IT is one of the leading media publishers from Italy, and they are our client as well. So PMI.IT, what they have done is they're using the RSS to push feature. So what this feature does is, let us say you are a media publisher and you are having a lot of content on your website coming up every day. You have a lot of updates to be announced to your users. So how do you do that? So instead of creating every single notification, you have the option to automate the flow of the notifications. So this is where RSS to push feature will help you. If you are having, let us say 6 to 10 notifications a day, you can simply use the notification source as RSS to push, and all your, as and when new content gets updated on your website, new news is being added to your website, automatically that will reach to your subscribers' devices. And it could be, it will reach on their device's screen directly. As you can see here, this from the dashboard image that I have captured, the source that they have chosen is RSS. So similarly, different clients are using different sources, what fits in the best for them. Some have chosen RSS to push, some are choosing simple notification, which I will cover in the next section. Some have chosen triggers. Again, it is covered in the next section. I have hidden the details here because of the confidentiality issues. Now coming to the simple notification. Now here, dreamjob.ma, and I would be taking an example of this website. Now dreamjob.ma, if I'm not wrong, it's a very leading job portal from France. Yeah, it's a leading job portal from France. And what they have done is they have chosen the source of the notification as simple notification, as it is visible here. Now, as you can see, what is simple notification? It just directly contains the name of the website, the title of the website, and the message body of the notification. Name of the website, title, and message of the notification. So directly, if I click on this, I will be going back to their website. This is how it works. So because people are generally busy on some platforms or the other, so how would you actually give them the opportunity to come to your website? So this is a simple tool that let you do that. Next would be triggers. So as you can see the image here, so all these are the examples of the notifications that are being sent from our client's end. So as you can see here, Bombay Shaving Company, it's quite an old company for grooming products. What they're using the source of notifications as triggers. So what triggers lets you do is you can send the notifications to your subscribers based on their interaction on the website. As you can see here, these are all the triggers that they have used. So I'll give you an example here. Let us say someone subscribed to Bombay Shaving Company, and on let us say 1st of April, and that person is now not at all active, not at all actively visiting the website again. So you have the authority to send the notification with the condition that I want my notification to reach only that specific user who is not active, who has last visited my website, let us say 3 days ago. So you have the authority to target only those kind of subscribers. This is how triggers work. It is based on the user interaction. Also, you must have noticed that once you visit any e-commerce platform and you make some good purchases, add them to your wish list, and then again you leave the cart. So again, triggers come under the cart abandonment messages also. So once you leave the cart, a user can be targeted based on that. Since you have left the cart, kindly know us the feedback of the products and why did you not purchase the product. Like that, notifications can be pushed out to those specific subscribers. So this is how triggers works. Okay, next would be, so this is an example for Get My University. I think most of you would be aware of this platform. Get My University, it's a edtech platform for students and professors, which provides counseling, career counseling material, mock test series, and course materials, and everything related to that. So as there is this shift from traditional learning to the digital learning, so this is how these platforms are actually actively using push notifications to re-engage the visitors. Now Get My Uni has again used the source triggers, are using the trigger source using our dashboard, and they have segmentized their audience based on the course preferences. For example, someone who is looking only for engineering related stuff, or someone who is only looking for MBA related stuff. So they will be targeted with the notifications that only cover those information. So this is how you are sending only relatable notifications to your subscribers. And the more segmentized your audience is, the more converting it is. Again, another example is for fintech platform. This is White Rock Loans. It's quite an old company for personal loans. They provide loans like from $1,000 to $5,000, something like that. Again, they're using the source triggers here. I'll open the website. If I'm not so sure I'm subscribed to them, I'll give you an example here. So this is White Rock Loans. If I click on the website, yeah, so this is how the notification appears. Once I click on allow, now I have become the subscriber for this website, and now I have received the notification from them, which is a already defined notifications that they have set using our dashboard. So anyone who comes and clicks on allow, they will receive the similar notification. And moving further again and again, as and when they push out new notifications, I will be receiving it on my system. So, okay, the use cases are being covered. Now there are no limitations to the type of industries that can use the push notifications and leverage the benefits of that. Also, as you have noticed here, some of the clients have used images. Some of the clients are simply using simple notifications. You know, all these things depends on the experimentation that you can do with this platform, which is a totally DIY platform, and you can experiment what kind of notifications are actually yielding results that are more beneficial to your website. So you can experiment with the emojis, you can experiment with the images, you can experiment with the text, you can experiment with the notification title, how to do that, and all these things can be experimented, and you can use the best channel that suits you. Now, also, one thing that which is important to know is that once you start using push notifications, you should be thoroughly aware of your audience. You know, since if you're not having the complete information of your audience as to what's the time period when they are the most active, and you should know the frequencies of the notification, how many notifications you should send in a day, what should be the timing. Let us say we don't want to send notifications at 3 a.m. because nobody would actually see that. We can send the notification maybe at the daytime when the consumption of the devices is more. At that particular time period, you can strategize your push notifications, and that is how it yields the best results. So I have covered the use cases here. I would like Ravi to take over from here. I'll stop presenting the screen. I request Ravi to take from here the growth and SEO hacks session. Also,
Sure.
guys,
I mean,
yeah, sorry to stop. Also, guys, kindly update your questionnaire in the form. So I will evaluate from here, and once the session is done, I'll address the query. Ravi, please go on.
Thanks, Tina. I would like you to share the presentation.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks. I mean, thanks for sharing your thoughts, Tina and David. Just to re-summarize, let me put forward my thoughts around it, or a bit of experience which I have, garnered over a period of year and a half. So push notifications is the additional marketing channel like your email or your social media, where you can engage your visitors. It has become much more effective than the other two. Predominantly the reason being your open rates. The success in push notifications is at least 5x to 10x more than your email, a typical email campaigns which you send, or a SMS campaign which you send, or a social media campaign which you do. The success rate is much more higher. It works, the dashboard or a tool works so simple that you can just create a campaign as you are creating a social media campaign on your Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. You have a very simple dashboard. All you have to do is create a campaign and measure its performance as to how many people are opening it, clicking the campaign, and so on and so forth. You can just plan your next campaigns according to your previous campaign's success. Right. So most interestingly, everyone, once we start talking about, once we started floating about demoing this product, everyone wanted to know how did we achieve growth over a period of 1.5 years since we started this company. Can you go back? Yeah, every SaaS company, we when we started, there was very little online presence, and the only challenge which we had, how do we let people know about there's a company called TruePush which is active or being run right now. So we wanted a strategy where we can make a difference out of hundreds of push notifications companies which are active right now? Honestly speaking, we had no clue because we were actually the late entrants, and after TruePush, there are barely any company which has come forward in this segment. It was definitely a challenging ask because by the time OneSignal and other companies have significantly made their mark in the industry. So we had to go back, both Manoj and me had to go back and figure out what could be our strategy and how do we go about promoting TruePush forward. So once we started, obviously your social media, your presence on search engines, your presence on other platforms would be very, very weak. And other metrics such as your Alexa ranking, your page authority, your domain authority, definitely wouldn't be that significant as compared to what we are today. Definitely, once you start, obviously all these parameters wouldn't have magic figures which everyone expect. So with this thinking about how to go about it, we thought Free Forever strategy would help us garner a lot of attention, and that exactly we have done it. So in the month of Jan 2019, once we launched the product, first thing which we have done is we went to Product Hunt. Product Hunt is a product where is a site where it's a marketplace where you put your product, showcase its feature, and then have people or early adopters use the product, have them use it, and then share their feedback. Good thing was market leader OneSignal was changing their Free Forever strategy to a paid model at the same time when we actually released our product on Product Hunt. So that actually gave us a lot of attention initially. On the day when we actually got featured on Product Hunt was on 8th of January. That's where we started getting a lot of upvotes, and we eventually became second number 2 on that particular day. So Product Hunt has something called top 10 products on that particular day. We stood number 2 with 700 plus upvotes. So next few months we went ahead and started talking to these 700 people to find out who they are. Why did they come onto the platform? Again, initial days when you have recently floated the company, your Alexa ranking and your page authority and domain authority definitely wouldn't be as significant as you wanted it to be. Yes, after your launch on Product Hunt, we had some hundreds of signups initially. So month on month, when we started talking to these people, we understood that these are very good brands, and we call them as gold mine in TruePush, and we started chasing them, talking to them, understood what their requirements are, and then started making them making their requirements as part of our product roadmap. Next slide, please. Okay, so immediately after understanding that there's a significant amount of work has to be done online to make your product present, has to be your focus area, because more people, the more presence on online, that's where more people are likely to understand or come to know about your product. So we started with something called competitor backlinks. We started looking at where our competitors are, where they have featured their product across online. Since this is a SaaS-based company, we focused more on our online presence. So we understood that this is how the SaaS players, leading SaaS players across the world operate. We understood that this is the place where they start to showcase their product online, and then we started chasing or making sure that our presence is there on the websites which they are listed. That's the most easiest way as a business. You need to understand where your competitors are, and then start to make your product presence there. For example, initially we found that a lot of our competitors started participating on Quora, sites like Quora. So we made sure that every discussion which was related to push notifications, we participated there, made sure that our presence is felt on Quora or other websites like BetaList, BetaPage, Alternative.io. So it's important that you need to understand as a company where your competitors are and make sure that you have a profile there. So let's say if you're a B2B business, you have thousands of websites where you can showcase your product. And if you're a B2C company, understand where your competitors are. Let's say if you're a restaurant, they are on Swiggy, they're on Zomato. So make sure that your online presence is as good as your competitors. Okay, so immediately after product hunt, we go back to the slide, please. Immediately after the understanding where our competitors are, we started to set goals, which is very, very important. For any business, you need to set your goals straight. That's where you will start to understand where exactly you are right now versus where you want to be. So for push notifications based companies like us, adding more 1 million and above sites, 1 million as in the traffic which every site has, the monthly active users which every site has. So adding more 1 million plus websites to add 100K websites was very, very crucial for us. Tina, can you show Shreya, can you show as to how you actually look for traffic of a website? Take an example of Dream Job.
Sure, Ravi.
So Dream Job is one of our premium customers. So Dream Job is a Moroccan-based website, a job portal. In fact, just to correct it, Tina mentioned it's French website, but it is actually a Moroccan website. Okay, go back to the slide, please. Okay, so for us, we started setting goals of having more 1 million sites and above 100K plus traffic websites. So that paved a path for success in push notifications company. You will be measured in terms of your success will be measured in terms of how many websites are you serving and how are these websites are high traffic websites or not. And other immediate goals which we had is to have 1 million users hitting.
I request everyone to please keep your system on mute. Yeah.
Okay. So we realized that if you have more number of users coming onto your website, that will give you more number of signups. And one way of doing it is your search engine optimization. That's what we adopted over a period of time. We started working on what keywords which were working for us. We started adding a lot of content on our website. More content on your website with keywords which are relevant to you will help you in terms of optimizing your site, and your presence will become stronger and stronger. So right now we are at around 110K monthly active users. So our immediate goal is to achieve 1 million by 2021 this time. Yeah, onboarding bigger companies. Yes, obviously we want more and more publishers who are renowned across the world start using our push notifications tool. More big companies using us means our product will get evolved and get matured in terms of its features or its benefits. Right now we are through our roadmap. I think we are around 20 to 30% of what we wanted to achieve. We have achieved 30% of it. And moving forward, by 2021, we want to be available with full suite in terms of whatever services or features which our competitors are providing we also want to make sure that we are there by 2021. And the reason why we are a little slow here is because we are late entrants, and push notifications looks a very simple product. It looks like, it look like as if you just have to allow or deny, but then behind the scenes, it's very, very tough. It's an infra-based product. A lot of user data gets stored in your server, and more data in your server is more complications. Okay, so another goal which we have set is to have Alexa ranking under 100 for India and under 1,000 for 1,000 global ranking. Currently, we are at 1,000 across India and close to 11,000 globally. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is you have to set your goals first. You need to understand this is what you want. Your goals could be as simple as number of conversions. It could be as simple as number of people filling your sign-up forms. Have your business goal, online business goals set so that life becomes easy. All that you have to do, go back to your drawing board and work on a strategy as to how you can achieve these goals. Next slide. Okay, so I'll not get into a lot of SEO based knowledge or analytics based knowledge as to what I have done. I'll only focus on things which actually helped me succeed in getting more traffic or getting more visibility. Okay, for any given point of time when you are building a product, let me go a little more simple. When you are building something new, make sure that you pick from your competitors. Don't put a lot of energy researching researching about what you want to be, what you want to have in your product. Instead, just copy the most simple features, make it available for the next user, and then capitalize on it. Your simple product could be as simple as your basic features which are available, or a usable product which you can take it to your friends and collect a lot of feedback from them. That exactly we have done at MVP stage when we were trying to find out the viability of the product. We only built some basic features and took it to few of our friends to understand what their requirements are. So slowly, when we brought the product out, the features were very limited. However, with the kind of feedback which we received from our early adopters or customers whom we were dealing, helped us in building a very superior or evolved product which we have right now. And of course, making your customer feedback part of your roadmap becomes very, very important, because one way your customers will stick to you is they want you to listen to you first. That's where you can win brownie points. We made sure that our customers are heard. And one way of doing it is, if you listen to them more, that will probably alter your product roadmap. One way of doing it is to give them at least ballpark estimates as to when a product or a feature will be available for them. If it is available, if you can do it right away, inform them. If you can't do it, tell them this is the reason why you're not able to do it, and you will do it at a later point of time. And make sure that you keep communicating the progress of any feature which you build within your product which you're trying to build. This will ensure that you're building a lot of trust with them. And to be honest, a lot of people tell that it's because free offering the success of TruePush is there, but not exactly. It's basically because we heard the pain points of our customers. We heard what our customers need. We ensured that these features are made available to them, if not today, tomorrow. But then we always communicated with them. Our touch points, customer touch points, such as email, your chat widget, or any other source, or be it a basic social media, your Facebook page where customers reach out to you. We made sure that all these touch points were seriously taken over, and we got back to them immediately. Again, when you receive a feedback from your customer about these are the features which they need, it is important that you set clear demarcations so that you don't alter your roadmap. Make sure that your roadmap is not completely altered. Only 20% or 30% of feedback is considered from customers. If your roadmap is altered, you will never be able to build a product. Rather, you set parameters of communication properly, tell them this is how we want to work. And even if you lose customers, like for example, it took us a lot of time to convert websites like BBomb or eNadu. Simple reason is they wanted a feature and we were not there at the point when they came to us with the inquiry. But then at a later point, after 6 months, 8 months down the line, when we finished the product, we communicated that to them, and currently both the publishers are using us. So one way of doing it is make sure that whomsoever is reaching out to you, make a note of it, and then reach out to them whenever your product feature is ready. And this requires a tremendous diligence and tremendous amount of organization. Focus more towards organizing yourself as a team. The more organized you are, customers would definitely love you. If you go to our G2 page, Shreya, can you open our G2 feedback? If you check our reviews page, all that which has been just spoke about was our customer centricity and the way we actually dealt with customers. Almost everyone spoke about how well we have actually addressed to someone's pain point, a customer's pain point. And every time we did it, we got an appreciation from our customers who have widely used us. Okay, never mind. That's fine. Let's go back to. Okay, so SEO wise, make sure that you check your competitor backlinks and ensure that your product is available. I'm not giving a specific. I'm giving a specific example right now. However, based upon the nature of your business, you pick on where exactly you can have a backlink of your website, so that the traffic from these quality websites will flow onto your website, and that will help you rank better on your search engine. Yeah, obviously, once you have small successes or big successes, reach out to PR, speak to them, keep speaking to them. You never know, someone like your story or local media who will pick your story and start publishing it. A strong PR reach would help you out in terms of garnering overnight attention, and this will help you guys in gaining a lot of customers or signups, whatever your business goals are. Check on some metrics like domain authority, page authority, Alexa ranking right from the beginning. If you have these things written on your on desk every day, the chances of you growing or chances of you working on these parameters become high, and then these parameters will help you, getting a superior position for you on online. Make sure that you never discard domain authority, page authority, and Alexa ranking. And Bhargavi or Tina, can you share the links of where exactly they can look for these options? Spam score, domain authority, page authority.
Yeah, sure.
And obviously, once you are, make sure that blogs is something which you don't have to ignore. Never ignore blogs. It has phenomenal success. The more number of characters or more number of words which are fed inside your website, one way of doing it is having good blogs. The chances of you getting top listed are high. Make sure that you always update meta description, your meta tags, so that the ranking becomes better. And always remember, once you do something, your success might not come immediately, but then don't write it off. Don't stop doing that. For us to garner attention or have customers coming from Quora took us a lot of time. It took us at least 6 months. We never stopped participating in these forums like on Quora or be it Stack Overflow. We never stopped doing it. But after 6 months, when we diligently were doing it, trying to do at least 30, 40 submissions a day, slowly, after 6 months, a lot of attention started coming from these things. Only point which I'm trying to mention here is don't stop experimenting. Don't stop doing things, even though they're not working. Still focus on it. Make sure that you work until you get success out of it. If at a point that it is not working, it is not yielding results, then I think it's wise to stop. But otherwise, things take time. You need to have patience towards it. Okay, scroll down. Okay, another example, like Product Hunt worked for us in the month of January 2018. But in month of August, we again wanted to become featured on Product Hunt, but we never got any attention over there. So that's why sometimes things which you're doing right now works for you, sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't mean that that particular hack will never work. Keep experimenting, try it out again after 6 months. You probably might see success. Okay, as I told, as we are growing big as a product, we have become more like an infrastructure product, more like an infra product where a lot of data is being collected. Every single event or every single action a user takes, it becomes a data point for us, and we forcefully have to store it because that's how everything is interlinked to the product, and that's how the features work. So this became a more infrastructure product. We were there on some other platform or some other data center before. We had to forcefully move to AWS because the platform which we were using earlier was not able to support our data size. So again, product-wise, once you start, I think it is crucial that you start very small, work on the feedback, but moving forward, when you become a big product, make sure that you don't lose attention on it, and ensure that there are no loose ends while building the product. A small mistake, let's say, for example, there were times where our the servers went down, and then we started to lose a lot of customers again. And to get customers back, it took us a lot of time and effort in getting them back. So always make sure that your servers or your infra is actually of supreme quality. Okay, other SEO metrics we kept on checking or were always there on our mind were your website performance. The speed of your website is also very, very crucial. If for a reason your website doesn't work and it is slow, you probably might not get good brownie points from your customers. So ensure that these metrics are always checked, and you make sure that your programmers work on your website performance all the time. In fact, at TruePush, we check these metrics on a daily basis. A little, degrade, if a little downfall on performance of the website, it's a red flag for us. Keep focusing on SEO practices. There are a lot of forums, books available online. All the new SEO practices, implement them. See what are the successes for them. Like we are experimenting with something called schema in SEO. So keep experimenting. Read more about SEO. Keep implementing them and see and measure the success of each activity which you are doing. And yeah, obviously, as I've mentioned, check your domain authority and page authority on a regular basis. These metrics are very, very important. We check, although our domain authority or page authority doesn't change now very often, but then we keep that as a practice. We have KPIs which around it. We monitor these parameters on a daily basis and never lose sight of it. Yeah, your email marketing is very, very important. You should quite often do it, but ensure that these email will not end up having your email ID which is used under spam. because a lot of people mark you as spam, and then that's where you start losing. So it not just affect your typical campaign, email campaign, but it also affects your domain. So once you're doing it, make sure that you are doing it regularly, but then ensure that it is not disturbing your customers or your campaign emails which you're trying out email campaign. And always measure the success of it. Open rates are very, very important. If the open rates are decent, more number of people are opening it, you can do another campaign. But moment you see there's a decline, then I think it is wise to stop for a bit. Okay, over a period of time, you always tend to focus on your backlinks, but at a point you garner a lot of unhealthy backlinks, and it is important for you to remove these unhealthy backlinks all the time, because this will negatively impact your success on search engines drastically. So a lot of websites which are available like Ahref or web small website, or there are a lot of websites which probably Tina or Shreya can share. Always measure these parameters quite often and maintain a 70-30% of follow or no follow links for your business. If you're actually worried about good strong online presence, make sure that your backlinks are intact. Again, good content, blogs will help you out in maintaining good number of users coming back to your website. Always have a check on bounce rate, session time. So you make sure that your bounce rate is low and session time is low, because these parameters will tell you what is the quality of content which is there on your website. Next slide. So yeah, so talking about TruePush growth, so all these smaller things, all these bigger things in SEO, or your customer service, your product adoption led to the success of TruePush. Once we started TruePush, the initial months for us to reach 1 billion notifications took us close to 347 days. But moving forward, the time it took us to reach the next 1 billion drastically have come down. Currently, we are doing 1 billion notifications in about 7 days right now. Total number of notifications which we have sent through our clients are 14 billion. I think 15 billion as on today. And this success in push notifications category is huge. I think a lot of customers or competitors who have achieved this feat, it took them a lot of time to do so. I know some competitors who are 5 years down the line, who have started the business 5 years ago, 6 years ago, are doing 250 million notifications a day. Currently, we are proud as a team that we are able to help our customers send across close to 200 million notifications a day. Anything between 160 to 200 million notifications a day, and we achieved this in about one and a half years time. Next slide. Okay, so these are the awards which we got. We were rated High Performer Spring 2020 on G2. Premium Usability Rising Star by Finances Online. We are currently the 7th most popular push notifications tool in India. 13th most in entire push notifications category. There are hundreds of push notification websites or push notification services which are available across the internet. And our goal is to achieve 2nd or 3rd by end of this year, and we will achieve it. Next slide. Okay.
Yeah, this was the end of the presentation.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for participating, and I'm honored that few of my very close friends whom I knew for last 20 years are also part of it. Thanks for joining this session. Before we wind up this session, let us address all the queries which are there. Tina, go ahead. Let me answer.
Thank you, Ravi. So I'll be addressing the queries here. Okay, so this question is asked by Jay. The question is TruePush meant to send operational or and transactional messages to the subscribers? Also, is it meant for cross-selling? This is the question.
Yes, it is meant for cross-selling. It depends on what use case which you have, Jay. And yes, there are options of transactional push notifications as well. We call it as triggers. But again, we have your email ID. We will reach out to you to understand what are your specific use cases, and then we can address them. Or else you are free to come back to us on help@truepush.com or ping us on chat widget. Most likely, I will take it up.
Also, the question is, does it go only as notification to the website app, or does it help in sending emails as well?
It goes like a notification. We don't have option of emails. However, as a product, emails and SMS are also part of our roadmap. But as of now, we only push notifications. But then moving forward, we will have user journeys where we can convert your SMS audience or email audience into push notifications to different other channels of engagement.
The next question is by Raja Pantham from Digital Edge Company. How can we leverage on push notifications and how effective they are in conversions?
Hi, Raja. So again, it very specific to your use cases. Some of the use cases which Tina have shared, that's how it will help you to engage your audience or visitors who come online. But since every business has a unique use case, so it is advisable that you come back to us and we can help you out in narrating based upon how you want to target your users. But few of them which Tina have shared will give you a little understanding of how it can help.
The next question is from Abdul Rahman, and his feedback is also there. I love TruePush overall family. The question is, when would the API system will be done, and when would the apps notification systems would be enabled?
So Arif, I think you're our customer, one of the premium customers which we have. Yeah, APIs and apps will come pretty soon. We're working on other important. I mean, these things are also important, but we, as a part of roadmap, we have something else on our mind right now. But yeah, trust me, mobile is coming soon. APIs are coming soon as well. It's just a matter of time. As much as you want these products to be online, we want them to be live as well. And thanks for the feedback which you have shared.
The next question is from Selvam from Short Fundly. The question is, what effective strategies for a video delivery streaming website?
Okay, again, this use case has to be analyzed. We want to check how typically you want Short Fundly to be recognized by your subscribers, visitors. Basically, it works like a very simple social media tool where you have option of sending a small text versus image. You can link it to a video. So there are multiple ways of engaging or send campaigns to your visitors. It's just that they are very your use case centric. The more we understand your use case, I think it will be better for us to help you out in terms of how it can help.
Those which require the detailed solutions for any specific use case, we'll reach out to them through emails. We already have the list of the emails, and we'll reach out to you all. The next question is from Meghna from Pactera Edge. The question is, are you thinking of building any complementing service to the current one?
Hi, Meghna. Yes, we are working on a lot of products around it. After notification, which always remain our base product, which will be ensured that we decided as a precursor that it will always be free. But after that, we have plans of adding in-app notifications. Then web pop-ups is one of them which we are trying to incorporate. Then email and SMS will also are also part of our roadmap. However, these products which I'm trying to line up apart from notifications, remaining would be a paid option. So right now, always remember our base product notifications. It's our customer engagement strategy. Sorry, customer acquisition strategy. So we want to make sure that we'll ensure that this product will always remain free forever. That's how we got success, and we'll try to remain free forever for a very long time. Yeah, it is expense for a company like us. Luckily, we have partnered with someone as good as Amazon, who is helping us out in providing better rates. We're also an investor-driven company, so yeah, lost a lot of cost is absorbed by investors, and yeah, we can sustain for next 2-3 years, which is adequate timeline bandwidth for us to to build products around the free forever strategy. And yeah, we'll start monetizing as soon as possible, probably by this time next year.
We're having a lot of queries. I would want you to pace it up, Ravi. And also I'll choose the queries that would be useful to everyone present in the webinar. Next one is from Prasad, and the question is, how is it helpful in digital marketing?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, the question is from Prasad from cloudtimon.com. The question is, how is it helpful in digital marketing?
Again, these are all channels of marketing, like social media, like email or SMS campaign, which you typically send. This is another channel of engagement. If you have a website, you can just plug in our software and start sending notifications to your website visitors. The use cases, every information is presented on our blogs, and you can go check it out whenever you have time.
The next question is from Pranav Koduri from LogicServe Digital. The question is, does this work on both web and app?
Yes, it does work on both web and app. As mentioned, app notifications will still not available. We'll make it live pretty soon.
Moving ahead, this question is from Titus from WebEngage. The question is, what was your growth technique or model used?
Already have covered during my presentation.
Okay. Okay. So we have a question from Prithvi from MyPlaydate. The question is, if the tool is free, how is TruePush making money?
Again, a lot of products will come around the free strategy which we have right now. So yeah, we are as eager as you guys. We want to monetize it as quickly as possible.
Next is from Sistala Abhishek from Cosmic Tech Labs. Did you start with the intention of giving push notifications for free? One. Second, how are you building your ad network to support sustained recurring revenue?
Again, the first question, yes. So it was like a strategy to acquire more customers. It has helped us. Luckily, we are now one of the most promising products in this category. And yes, a lot of cookie data is being collected. Cookie data will help us understanding contact behavior of a typical user. So this will help us in building our ad tech or ad products which we are planning to build around it.
I can see in the chat section as well. One question is from Vikas Raj. Ravi, any special pricing for SLP guys?
It's free forever. That's special for everyone, including SLP. We can, as alumni from SLP, both Manoj and me are part of SLP. Yes, you will also get a little more emotional support if you want.
There's one more question from Sistala Abhishek. Is there a publisher that used TruePush initially, got the high CTRs, but failed after rolling out new features? If so, how did you enable the publisher to continue using TruePush?
Good question, Abhishek. So a typical example was India Glids. India Glids. So India Glids initially started using us. The number of subscribers were less. The net CTRs were very, very high. So after a period of time, to ensure that the CTRs are high, they started to lose on the click-through rates. The number of clicks were reducing as the number of subscribers were increasing. So we suggested them start using segmentation, which is a feature which we launched at a later point of time, and that helped them in categorizing their visitors. And then once they started sending push notifications based upon based upon the segments which were created, the success was very, very high because the content which were being sent out to them were very contextual as per their need.
The next question is from Sai from Uber. The question is there are two questions. One is, what are your brand strategies to increase your brand engagement and also to overbeat your competitors? This is question one.
One by one, let's focus this one first. Brand
Yeah.
strategy is obviously making sure that your presence is available as your competitors. Wherever the competitors are, we are ensuring that we are also present there. And we are successfully doing webinars now. So a lot of other hacks which the leading market players are doing, I think we will continue to follow them and capitalize on whatever which we are doing. So yeah, pretty much the brand strategies were covered in this session before.
The second question is, how would you handle the disappearing competition? Like, few companies are building their in-app features of notifications or using communication suites. How will TruePush withstand apart from them?
Very simple. I think most of what our competitors have built, we are making it a part of our roadmap based upon our goals which we're trying to achieve. So our immediate focus would be to build the product as quickly as possible and start competing with them. Since we have a free forever push notification strategy and already our 12,000 plus customers, I think most of our customers for the next products will come out from the customer base which we already have.
Moving forward, we have a question from Shiva Charan from FameBoat. The question is, what did you do for the first 100 days when TruePush was started?
Oh, very tough times, Shiva. The initial days were very, very difficult. We were not sure as to what was working, what was not working. I remember the days when David and me were like working 24/7 in order to reach out to the first customers whom we got from Product Hunt. I think the results won't come. So that's where you'll have to, it is difficult time for sure. And that's where you'll have to stick to your plan and then keep capitalizing. One day the results will come and then you will start seeing success and you'll be more happy. That's it.
The next and the last question, hopefully, it is from Ganesh Verma from Deloitte. The question is, I might have missed this in presentation, but is there a way to send a very targeted to a particular user session a notification? Thanks.
Yes, we can try, Ganesh. We will definitely try out something. Let me get back and then see how best we can send relevant content for you.
There's one more question from Shiva Charan. Does TruePush plan in the future to work from e-commerce company and OTT platforms? I guess we have covered that in the use cases part itself.
Yes. I mean, let me answer that as well. Yes, we will. We have plans. Already, we are working with a lot of e-commerce companies. I think little more deeper. Like cart abandonment notifications or triggers, a little more. As we evolve as a product, we will start helping them out more.
Another question is from Chaitanya from ACFM. He's asking about the use cases in media.
Already covered, I believe.
Okay, so the questionnaire submitted through the documents are completed. I'll just go through the chat section and see if there is any question.
I mean, since you have already mentioned that media websites, it's very easy. One thing most people enjoy, push notifications feature is media companies only because the flow of content on their blog is more. The chances of you publishing, I mean, if your website has blogs or important updates coming quite often, push notifications is a very simple tool to help you reaching out to your customers.
That's it for the query part. Now I would request everyone to please just on their video so that I can take a screenshot of everybody present here in this session for just few seconds. I'll change the layout. Yeah. I'm not so sure how to capture complete. Um, 1 second. One second, guys. Let me change the layout. Yeah, now I'll take the screenshot. Thank you so much. It's done. So the session is done. It's complete now. Any queries that you guys are having, you can reach us out on help@truepush.com. Also, you can reach us through the chat widget option, which is present on our website, truepush.com. That's it for the session. Thank you so much for joining here today. And also in the future, we are coming up with more webinars. This was just a gist of the things that we are doing. We'll go more into details further in the future. That would be very soon. That's it.
Tina, someone named Sai Suprita has a question.
Sure.
Is it difficult to code a push notification?
Okay. Ravi, please, you may address the
Sorry,
question.
what was the question?
Is it difficult to code the push notification?
It looks very simple at the outset. I wouldn't say it is difficult, but then once no more number of customers gets start adding, you definitely require a lot of focus on your infra, and you need to address your customers. I think adoption for this product is very, very high. Every website probably these days are using push notifications. So it is difficult. It probably might not be difficult to build. I wouldn't say it is very, very tough. At the outset, the product is very, very simple. But I think it will be challenging. It will become challenging as you build your customer base and start to address their needs. Versus, it is a huge infrastructure product. It looks very small, but then the amount of data it collects and will have to store is humongous, and it requires a lot of money to sustain a product like this.
Thank you, Ravi. All the queries are being addressed. Also, some of the queries we have skipped because we are reaching out to them personally, as they were quite specific questions related to their businesses. So we are reaching out to them through mails. And those queries which I have skipped also includes that we have already covered in the session. So hopefully I've covered all the questions from the participants of the webinar. That's it.
Tina, one more question.
Yeah, please go on.
One more question is left. From Sai Suprit, just check out.
Okay, Sai Supreet. Is it present in the sheet, Prasanna?
No, in the chat.
In comments.
Okay, the question from Sai Supreet is, will TruePush give a good competition to iOS Apple push notification services, APNS, in future and coming years? At Ravi.
Well, see, these are all delivery networks, Apple push notification or Google messaging, cloud messaging and all. So there's, we are direct competitors. I don't think we are direct competitors as such, but then even if you're using any of these things, you'll have to build a lot of, analytics around it. So we think that, we are not direct competitors because we are more of a marketing tool. Apple push notifications or Google cloud messaging are more of a developer tool. You'll have to build a lot of analytics around it. And then these are raw products, and you need to code a lot of things around it. Our team is dedicated, and our only job is to work on these push notifications. So that way, it is. If you are someone in, if you're a company who definitely survive only on messaging, then it's wise to work on it. And also, you require a lot of rack space or data. So then you have to spend more on data centers. If not, simple ways, depending on a third-party marketing tools like us.
So the last question, I would like to end it with a good note. This question is from Lakshmi Raghu at Ravi and Manoj. After this huge success, you're gonna buy us a coffee.
Yeah, virtually you can drink coffee at your place, Raghu, for now. once the lockdown is over, I think we can plan out something together.
Thank you, guys. That's it about the session. So we'll just end the session here. And thank you so much for joining here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for being part of the session.